I'm Rita Roberts, and I teach 7th grade language arts at Walnut Creek. So we narrowed it down to 2, HMH and Amplify, and we were looking at things that were research-based that would help increase student engagement, would increase test scores, and that we're really focusing on those critical language arts skills like reading, writing, vocabulary, and those like speaking skills. We're currently piloting the Amplify resource. So some of the successes is the students love the vocabulary in it. It's just nice, refreshing change of pace from Membean. It's a little bit more interactive, a little bit more current and relevant to them. Amplify really drills the skills, so every day and every lesson they work with vocabulary, reading, and then they write about what they've read. And even though sometimes that's like a lot for a 7th grade student, they do notice that their writing skills have really improved. Some of the challenges is that it's all online, so students still like that mix of online and pencil and paper, and it's a lot more high tech, so it's a lot of clicking and maneuvering from tabs to tabs, but the students are pretty tech savvy, so they've gotten a pretty good hang of it. Some other challenges is that it's not as flexible. You have to go like lesson by lesson in order for it to work, so you can't always incorporate your own things into it. It also, while it does give some differentiation, and so I can challenge some of my higher learners, and it does give some sentence starters for maybe some of my struggling learners, it's not necessarily as strong of a resource for our learning support students, we discovered. Students overall, they liked the change of pace, they liked the vocabulary app, and they also really like the student spotlight feature of it, so they get to see their own work sometimes featured in class. So overall, they like that. They do enjoy having a story about a student who is their age. So while it does give them that good structure and they know what to expect, it does kind of become redundant, and sometimes they get a little bit bored in that sense. And there's also not as much of a variety of text, so they don't get to read poems and nonfiction articles or like plays or things like that in this particular unit at least. So having some more variety of text I think would make it more engaging for them. I know that Amplify, one of the nice features is that it does have AI built into it. So as far as giving student feedback, it is kind of nice to use that, but of course AI only can do so much. So as us being like the teacher experts, we still have to kind of review all of the work, but it does give us a quick snapshot. It does a good job of catching the grammatical errors, and then it helps me give the students feedback a little bit faster.
My name is Rachel Morey. I'm an 8th grade English teacher here at Walnut Creek. Right now we're piloting HMH, which stands for Houghton Mifflin Harcourt, and so far it's been going really well. The content right now, there's something they're really excited about. We're reading about horror stories and focusing on the horror genre, so that's been a nice surprise and a nice jump off for the pilot. The content was a nice surprise. When I found out we were piloting this particular unit, I knew it was going to be a hit. I think in terms of instructional surprises, with this particular pilot, it's really just textbook resources, and I feel like more like suggestions. There's a lot that I can pull from. There's a lot that I can sort of make my own, and I can kind of pivot for different classes and do different things, and that has been really nice for me because I kind of missed that with the last one, and I feel more like myself. One big component of my teaching style and in my classroom, and I know that this is sort of catching on district-wide with the ELA teachers as well, is independent reading and integrating that into what we do in the classroom. We start off reading every single day, and with this pilot, I'm able to pull in what they're reading and have them complete assignments and use examples from their reading and tied into what we're doing in class. So that for me has been huge because that is a big focus for me as a teacher. Kind of a good thing and a bad thing, the amount of choice and all of the different things that are available to us in the online component and even a little bit in the textbook. There's almost so much that it's overwhelming and I kind of don't know where to look. I think that's probably going to be a learning curve, but I can't say for sure. I get a little bit lost. Sometimes I get a little bit confused trying to comb through everything, and the online resource for teachers is so vast, and their filing system and how we sort through things is not, for me, the way my brain works at all. So that has been definitely a learning curve. One major thing that's been helpful is that the textbook that they have, it's a consumable textbook, so they can write in it and they can make it their own, which I personally love. And it also matches up with the online component. Students can jump back and forth between what's on their computer and in their book. They can kind of use both simultaneously, and I think that's great for kids that just learn differently, think differently. Sometimes they need that handheld resource, and sometimes kids work better on computers. And so they've all been kind of able to cater their own learning on the fly without me having to really do anything, and that's been really nice.